Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our latest webinar in the series of selling on social media. My name is Ben Frisch with the Digital Service Squad of South Georgian Bay. And this morning I'm joined by fellow Digital Service Squad team members, Rochelle Reynolds and Amy Kells, both helping with the presentation. We're going to take you through selling on Pinterest. I mentioned if you caught any of my Facebook Lives promoting this event, I did mention that Sophia Lemon was going to be presenting this, but she was not feeling well, and so we're taking over. And a note about that, if you have questions as we go, we'll try and get to those. Sophia is our resident Pinterest expert, so we might have to come back to those, follow up with you via email if we don't happen to have the answer today, but we're happy to do that for you. So, and you can drop those questions in the Q&A section as we go. First point of note that this program is, or this webinar series and the program is available through or because of the Digital Main Street program, which is managed by the Small Business Enterprise Center of South Georgian Bay. And we've received additional funding with the help and support of the County of Simcoe, the Town of Collingwood, and the Town of Blue Mountains. So thank you to them for their support and keeping this program going. Today, we are talking about selling on Pinterest. That's why you're here. And what we're going to learn is about, why Pinterest, just a basic overview of what it is capable of, how to set up your business account, branding and target marketing, SEO and catalogs for Pinterest, as well as how to get found on Pinterest. Lots of great topics. Rochelle is looking shell-shocked. We're doing it.
A wonderful educational experience for me, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And just a shout out again to Sophia Lemon from our team who put this presentation together. She is, as I said, our resident Pinterest expert. She uses, she says that after Google, Pinterest is responsible for most of the traffic to her website. So that's like pretty huge, actually. And that includes organic and paid traffic. In fact, Pinterest brings more traffic to her website than Google Ads or any other social media ad, even though she doesn't pay for promoted pins. So she's paid for promoted ads, but just organic pins on Pinterest drives more traffic to her website. That's pretty amazing. And she's also a pretty fantastic photographer. So just a point of note there. So thank you, Sophia. And here we go. So how do I use Pinterest? Though Sophia doesn't have an online store, she does use Pinterest to promote her business, building her mailing list and generating engaged leads. And you can do this too. And there is some store functionality that we'll talk about later too. So the way Sophia uses it is to share examples of her work which appeal to people who are planning weddings or family-themed home decor. So she generates traffic to her website by sharing blogs and content to her profile, which offers value. So for example, descriptions on how to plan the perfect flawless proposal or how to work with your wedding photographer. These are things that people will latch onto and pin. Similar to her blogs, she promotes lead generators like her Dream Photographer workbook or an ebook on what should be included in your wedding photography contract. These valuable resources promoted on Pinterest bring visitors to her website and result in adding subscribers in her mailing list. These are all things you can do on Pinterest. And if you have an online store, you can do even more to generate sales, which we will get into in a moment. So let's have a closer look at what Pinterest is. So contrary to what many believe, Pinterest is not necessarily a social media platform. It is a visual search engine. Like Google, it's like Google, but with pictures and video instead of text. So it kind of falls within that category, much like YouTube, where technically, you know, a lot of people categorize it as a social media platform, but technically it is a search engine, which is kind of an interesting way to look at it. But this is why Pinterest can be so powerful. Like Instagram and Facebook, your content will be served to users who Pinterest thinks will like it. People will also see your content because they're actively searching for it, and people who are searching for your content are pre-primed to engage with it. So not only that, but Pinterest users are already trained to repin content they want to remember for later. Repinning makes it extremely easy to get your content in front of new eyes and ensure that it's shared over and over again over a long period of time. So yeah, and that's the great thing about Pinterest, is that it's about latching on to or categorizing ideas and creativity, creative projects, or in Sophia's world, you know, photo, just different photos, photo poses, photo locations, you know, photo setups that you could kind of emulate with your own maybe wedding or what have you.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that, so a lot of times people are always asking, well, what's Pinterest like compared to Instagram in particular? Because they do look kind of similar, right? Like it's all heavily visual. It's about sharing lots of photos of Insta-worthy kind of you know, things, right? Like pretty things or well-designed things and all that sort of stuff. Well, one of the great advantages to Pinterest is that shelf life, right? Like when you find a hit, it will continue to be a hit over time. Whereas with Instagram, it very much is that like mayfly kind of experience. It's here and then it's gone. So yeah, that's sort of the primary difference just in between, like, well, what are kind of the advantages and disadvantages to things that appear on the surface to be quite similar?
Yeah, that's a very good point. And when it comes to selling on Pinterest, it's one of the most lucrative places to sell. Once your shop is connected to Pinterest, Pinterest makes it easy, extremely easy to sell your products. We'll get into that shortly, but beyond being easy to set up, there are a few excellent reasons you should consider focusing more on Pinterest sales. In our research, Pinterest garners its users the third highest order sales. Think about that. Are you more likely to purchase products you're actively searching for, or a product that spontaneously appears in your feed while you're looking for photos of your niece? Referring to Instagram, of course, and that whole experience, right? So your users are primed to purchase your products in Pinterest when they're searching for a product you are selling. And again, yeah, that plays into the whole search engine opportunity of Pinterest, right? People are actively looking for something specific, whether that's home decor, style ideas, fashion items. They're looking for it. And if your item comes up that is an actual product for sale, then that's a pretty great opportunity right there, right? So one post, as Rochelle mentioned, can live on for a very long time in Pinterest with the right title, description, and imagery. It's easy to get the same post by a lot of customers. The more eyes a post gets, the more popular it becomes, as Pinterest users save them to their own boards to be viewed by their own audience. You can sell products in your shop directly from your Pinterest posts. And finally, Pinterest does not take a cut of your sales. That's also a key point, always a good thing to note when looking at e-commerce options. So you need to sell on Pinterest. The first thing is a great online shop. So think Shopify, Square, Squarespace, or Etsy. All these platforms have seamless Pinterest integrations, which make it easy as easy as a few clicks to add your products to Pinterest and start selling. We'll go over a few advantages to these systems later as well, but it all starts with a Pinterest business account. And this includes analytics on your pins so you can track which pins are performing well, review keywords, titles, and descriptions, and use that data to make the most of your future posts. It allows you to run ads, which appear just like regular Pinterest pins, but send users directly to your shop or website. There are also a great way to find how different audiences are responding to your content. The business account allows you to use catalogs, which make it easy to find to feed a large number of products into your Pinterest. And we're going to touch on catalogs briefly later in the webinar, but if you are nerdy and or have a large product catalog, you might find these useful. So setting up your Pinterest business account. Adding a business profile to personal account. What you're going to do is you're going to log into your Pinterest account, select the menu button in the top right corner, select add a free business account, and select get started. So then you'll fill in your business information and choose add preferences. And if in doubt, select I'm not sure yet, and you can always come back to that later. And that's not a surprise. They're always often trying to push some sales on you there, and you can always just skip it and come back to it later for sure. But then you're going to create a standalone business account. So once you're there, go to the Pinterest business sign up page. You're going to select create account, fill in your contact and business information, and choose add preferences. Again, I'm not sure yet is best if you're getting familiar with the platform. So there's two options there: turn your personal into a business account, or create a standalone business account, and that's how you would do that. So next, we're going to talk about linking and verifying your online store. As I mentioned before, it's easy to add your shop to Pinterest. This is how easy it is to add your shop to your Pinterest account. So if your shop is on Squarespace, for example, you go to your website's home menu, then select settings, select connected accounts, then next account, select Pinterest from the list. So it's going to give you a list of options there. Pinterest will be one of them. And you'll log in to your Pinterest account through that menu, select allow to authorize the connection, and choose whether you want images posted to Pinterest automatically. We definitely sort of err on the side of no, so you can curate boards yourself. So that's, instead of just dumping the whole catalog, especially if you have a lot of items, I can see how that would get messy. So yeah, it might be a good option there to just don't send everything over yet. Just take it one at a time, where so you can better curate that selection. And then you hit save, and away you go. If your shop is on Square, for example, then you're gonna make sure you're logged into your Pinterest account, then go to your online store dashboard in Square, select site settings, then integrations, select Pinterest verification and conversion tag, select verify and add tag, and then check that it's the Pinterest account you want, then hit authorize app, and it could take around a day to confirm. If anyone wants these step-by-step directions too, follow up with an email from us or to us, and we'll be happy to send these or even book a one-to-one to walk you through some of these setups. Because yeah, Shopify as well is equally as easy. And because it's important to know that Shopify and Pinterest stepped up their integration in early 2020, much like a lot of platforms. I think 2020 was the year of integrating with Shopify, and Pinterest was right on board with that, with the former launching a dedicated app for streamlining the connection between the two. It's free to use and requires no coding know-how, which is always a plus. So once the app is installed, and I believe that's a Shopify app that you can add. Simply follow the sign-in prompts as ever. There's a verification period, after which Pinterest will be added to your Shopify dashboard with direct access to analytics, advertising options, and inventory details. A bonus for Shopify users, Pinterest is offering a $100 ad credit for users who post their first ad on Pinterest. So that's pretty sweet. Like I said, we've got directions on how to connect, even on Etsy. And if you have a shop that you're interested in connecting, reach out to us and we can either send you directions or book a one-to-one. We can walk you through it. So let's talk about branding and your business profile. Branding is important because it's what letting people know when they are looking at you and your profile and who you are, what you do, and what you're offering. Your bio, like on Instagram and Facebook, you want to fill out all of that with your proper keywords that describe your business. So make sure you're optimizing that, and make sure your contact information is up to date as well, because you don't want to leave any doubt in your customers' minds, like who your Pinterest profile belongs to and who they're shopping from. Make sure you include your address, even a phone number, to make it more clear, and especially if you're seeking local sales. I find that really important too, like on a lot of platforms. People will put they won't put their location in their Instagram account, right? Which is somewhat problematic. If you're like a local contractor and you don't have your location in your bio, then you might be getting people asking you to do work 200 miles away. So it's really important to put your location, or even another country, if you're focused on a local market, but also just to give some legitimacy to your brand, right? So it's a really important thing to do.
Yeah. The importance of the bio really can't be overstated. What I've noticed is just because Pinterest tends to skew towards appealing to like home decor, fashion, boutique, kitschy, artsy sort of stuff. I find that a lot of times the branding on the profiles itself is off, right? Like there's a lot of appeal to how cool this brand is, or how by following this account, it's going to be such a wonderful experience and lead you down this like really inspirational artistic path or whatever. But there's been no effort made to actually like seal the deal sort of thing. Like the value proposition isn't there, or basic information like you can buy the stuff that you see on this page isn't included and whatnot, and it's just such a missed opportunity. So it's important to understand the ecosystem, and yes, like you don't want to sound super corporate or like a very sterile creator or whatnot. Like this is the place to punch up your personality, but remember that if you are using Pinterest as a business channel, then it does need to have that basic business sense included in it. And that doesn't always happen.
For sure. But let's talk about your target audience and finding them on Pinterest. So just like with search engine optimization, SEO, keyword research is an essential part of selling on Pinterest because it's a search engine, right? So obviously that would play an integral role. The words you use in your board names, pin titles, and descriptions, they have to appeal to your target market in order for your pins to be shown to them. So if you sell wine glasses, for example, you want your products to appear when users search wine glasses. Or if you're selling lipstick for mature women, you want it to appear in search results for mature women and not teen girls looking for a lip gloss. So it's important that you have an understanding of your target audience, what they like, what they're looking for, and what they're searching. Search engines are smart, but they're still rely on descriptions and keywords to understand what images and video are about and who to serve that content to. You can do some easy research by typing in some keywords into your Pinterest. You can also search something like Pinterest Trends, where you can search for keywords like you would in Google. Trends, see what other users are searching for related to those keywords. That's a pretty sweet tool. This can help you focus your board names, pin titles, and pin descriptions to appeal to your target market. And I would add to, Google Search Console is also a great place for some keyword research, as well as Google Ad Manager has a keyword planning tool that can also provide ideas based on giving it a bit of direction with a product selection, or you type in some words, it'll give you some keywords related, or you can have it scan a website. It doesn't have to be your website. You can have it scan like a competitor's website, and it'll give you keywords based on those properties, which is really cool. So when we talk about optimizing your Pinterest SEO, you want to be as specific as you can with your titles, descriptions of your products. So high-waisted streetwear classic jeans gives a far more detail for Pinterest to work with than just jeans. Air quotes if you didn't see that. But also be sure to include natural reading descriptions, which detail your products with lots of detail. Build as many keywords in as you can without making your descriptions read awkwardly. You can categorize your products into the proper boards like you would categorize them on your website. This keeps things organized when people are browsing, and also helps Pinterest differentiate between products. It's also important, you want to be sure to include hashtags with your descriptions, like you would on Instagram and Facebook. That's a really good one. Did you know that you can do hashtags on Pinterest, Rochelle?
I did know that. I didn't know the extent of how useful they were, because not like hashtags don't necessarily behave the same across every platform, right? So that's really good to know that it's kind of like essential learning or a really key component. That's awesome.
Yeah, nice. And then we're going to talk about creating product pins, also known as rich pins. Product pins, also known as rich pins, are pins which have automatically pulled information like the product name, description, and price from your website. This is where the magic of connecting your shop with Pinterest really lies. It makes it easy for users to shop your products from inside the Pinterest ecosystem. If you follow the previous steps, this should work smoothly. So that being the connections to your e-commerce platform. Basically, what's happening is your online store is generating metadata on all of these product pages. That metadata includes information about product name, price, description, and when a product is featured in a pin, all that information can be pulled by Pinterest and displayed. And interesting to note, or important to note, I think, is that these tactics of very unique but descriptive titles and descriptions on the products, it's not just a Pinterest thing. I mean, hopefully you've kind of taken that same care and consideration on your e-commerce platform too, because that's going to help in other search engines like Google when people are looking for those products. But back to Pinterest, of course. So Pinterest's name for this is Rich Pins, products that are pulled in from your e-commerce platform. There are different types of rich pins, including recipes and articles. Product rich pins are just one type. When you make a pin featuring one of your products, you can choose to tag it. So it's kind of like Instagram in that way, I suppose. But all of the online stores mentioned earlier generate the necessary data. If you are unsure of if your website does, you can work with your web designer or your digital service squad to get the necessary tags integrated into your website reasonably easy. Or maybe not your digital service squad. That might be a little technical now that I finished the sentence. But as I said, any of those e-commerce platforms, if you have questions, we can certainly help out with that. So promoting pins is another way to generate some interest on this platform. Promoted pins appear along with other Pinterest content, and they're a great way of pushing your content to the top of search results. That's always nice. As I have mentioned already, people searching Pinterest are already primed to be inspired and or purchase. 93% of active Pinterest users use Pinterest to plan purchases, and 50% of active pinners have made a purchase from a promoted pin. That's pretty fantastic. I was trying to think of another P because there's a lot of P's in there, but let me say that again. 93% of active Pinterest users use Pinterest to plan purchases, and 50% of active pinners have made a purchase from a promoted pin. Again, a bit of a tongue twister, but I think that's a pretty amazing stats on how influential the platform is on buying behavior. In 2017, Pinterest found that advertisers were getting on average $2 in sales for every $1 spent.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome. That is an incredible return on investment. As mentioned earlier, you can also use ads to gauge how receptive people are to your content. This can help you get more focused in your Pinterest promotions. If you intend to use promoted pins, be sure to work with your web designer to install your Pinterest tag on your website. It will help you track conversions and keep a steady, warm stream of traffic coming to your shop. You will install a tag similar to claiming your website. It's a tag you'll put in the header section of your website code, and you can generate the tag through the Pinterest ads dashboard. So that's kind of like the Facebook pixel, right? It's going to help share data between the Pinterest platform and your website. Again, you can work with your web designer to get this tag installed, or again, book a consult with us, the Digital Service Squad, and we can help you out. Certainly, yeah, adding tags, not a problem. We can do that. Easy peasy. So, organizing pins into catalogs. A catalog is a spreadsheet file with all of the data about all your products on your website. You can likely export this product list from your shop system and import it into Pinterest. However, you'll need to build this spreadsheet to match the Pinterest requirements for catalogs. You can download templates for this form from your Pinterest help files. Once you have formatted your file, you can upload it to catalogs.pinterest.com. You can use the uploaded catalog to launch a shopping campaign and scale your Pinterest presence more quickly. This is an incredibly useful tool. However, it's a bit convoluted. Here's how Pinterest describes it. Pinterest describes it as catalogs is a feed ingestion tool designed for businesses that sell products on their websites. And there are a few requirements in order to use catalogs. You need a Pinterest business account, a claimed website, both of which you now know how to get set up, a website that meets our merchant guidelines with a clear and easy to find shipping policy, refund policy, and contact details, a data source or file that contains a list of your products and their corresponding attributes, may also be called a product catalog or product feed, data source, hosting, or a way to consistently host and store a data source of your products that you can send to Pinterest daily. If all of this sounds a bit overwhelming, it's because it totally is. Once you get your Pinterest branded up and running, and you want to take a closer look at catalogs, book a consult with us and we'll be happy to walk you through the process of catalogs. And that will be a Sophia consult for sure, because it is convoluted and a little more complex. But when it comes to tagging products in the shop, if you've created a pin that features a scene such as a kitchen or someone wearing an outfit, you can tag it with up to 8 products from your claimed website. For example, if your pin showcases a living room that features many of your products like curtains, armchairs, or tables, you can tag these specific products to make it easier for people on Pinterest to shop for the exact items they see in your pin. So this is an excellent way to integrate product sales into high quality imagery featuring multiple products in your shop. And I think that's kind of a key point to mention about Pinterest, is that it's not just about sharing the products themselves. It's often, in a scene or something, right? Like it's still like Instagram in that people are looking for those high quality, really nice looking images. And so that's where the tagging can be really effective, because, you might have a scene of a beautiful living room or a person, a model out on the street, but hey, you can buy these clothes that they're wearing, or you can buy the couch in this beautifully staged living room. But you can even tag your products in an existing pin or when you're building a new pin. You can find instructions on how to tag products in your Pinterest Help Center. All you have to do is tap the tag icon in the top left corner of your new or existing pin. This will fit in perfectly into an excellent content strategy, which we will look at shortly. So getting your content noticed. It's worth reiterating here that Pinterest is an organic, slow-burning space with more in common with search engines than traditional social media platforms. Quality content is key, like I said, which means having coherent, stimulating boards composed of beautiful, brand-appropriate pins is important to your success on Pinterest. When you're promoting content on Pinterest, bold graphics are important, After all, you want your content to stand out and be clear and eye-catching. You should not be afraid to use clear text as well as animations to catch your audience's attention. Canva, by the way, is a great place to create those. You can create Pinterest templates too, I think. So using a platform like Canva can be ideal, actually, allowing you to easily create and save templates you can use over and over again. Keep track of your brand font and colors and even animate your content. Canva has pre-made templates which are designed perfectly for Pinterest because on Pinterest, size matters. And yeah, because you can do like even really long, tall images and really help your pin stand out more. And by the way, they also Canva has some really great animation features now too, which even in the free version, you can still do some really cool things with. So here's some high performing practices. So just like any social media platform, there are like kind of trends and things that people do to get noticed even more than just with the standard practices. So first, vertical images take up the most space in Pinterest. Again, those long, tall, vertical images. Taking up more space by default makes your content more noticeable when people are browsing through lots of content. Colorful images are also important. Bold colors, high contrast also draw users' attention. Easy to read text will help convert people from casually browsing Pinterest search results to clicking and buying. Don't be afraid to put a small amount of text on your Pinterest graphics. And we can see quite a few of those examples here that really kind of jump out at us. Again, video is also big on Pinterest because Pinterest does support video, but not everyone is using it. That's always nice to know because we see time and time again that moving pictures on social media and on Pinterest draw people's attention and get them to look longer than a stationary image. And you can even use Canva to add simple animations to your photos, and it has an immediate effect on users. Lastly, be sure to use high quality imagery and video. When it comes to selling products, there's no substitute for showing your products in the right light. But again, yeah, you can see here too that a lot of the product photos are staged. They're in a scene and really have a very consistent look of, that is stylized and very trendy. So keep that in mind instead of just posting your generic product images that are on your e-commerce platform. That's where you might get a little bit different, a little more creative with how to present those products in a way that fits within this environment. And also why, when it comes to connecting your shop to your Pinterest account, again, hitting that, no to say, don't just dump everything in the account. You want to curate that and, potentially even just start creating these custom pins that you can tag those items to your shop is a great strategy.
I think it's really interesting that Sophia made the point about including video. So anytime I've been on Pinterest, I have seen very little video content. It's been all static imagery. So I think that's a really insightful kind of Easter egg to helping you kind of edge out over your competition, right? If you do have video content that is inherently more eye-catching, more engaging, and just to push that a little bit farther. So if you're already kind of living in the world of Reels or TikTok and kind of used to creating those short, very much salesy type of videos that include like captions to explain what's going on and all that sort of stuff, then you're probably ahead of the game there too. I could see that sort of content doing really well on a platform like Pinterest. Again, because you have such a captive audience that is really actively looking for you to solve their problem, right? So if you can demonstrate that in a really well done, concise video, that's excellent.
Absolutely. So here's some ideas on incorporating content marketing, which is this. So this is really interesting, right? Because it's a visual platform, but content marketing being, blog content, guides or tips, things like that. It also has a place on Pinterest. So while you're sharing products on Pinterest, don't be afraid to also share your blog posts and lead generators. If you've worked with us before, you know that blog posts and lead generators can help bring eyes to your website and generate subscribers. In addition to sharing your products, share your blogs and lead generators. They tend to perform well on Pinterest. So you can create Pinterest-specific graphics, video again for these pins as well, include excellent and descriptive titles and descriptions, and share them to applicable boards. In addition to generating sales right from Pinterest, you can generate mailing list subscribers and new readers with the content you are already creating. So it's another avenue to just push out your content, your blog posts. As Sophia mentioned, it's not always just about getting sales, but you could be pulling them in, getting them onto your mailing list, and they might become a new customer after that. You can also share user-generated content. So another type of content you might consider is that user-generated content. These are photos and videos of people using or wearing your products. You can then tag your products in this user-generated content and point other people to the products your happy customers are promoting for you. So that is pretty amazing that you can repurpose user-generated content and still tag those products in there. Definitely something you cannot do on other platforms like Facebook or Instagram. And finally, Pinterest has analytics. It's a robust and free analytics system to take advantage of. To access it, you simply go to the analytics section of your account. There you can view all sorts of useful data about both your organic and paid content. Once your Pinterest business account is set up and running, you've published a few pins, you can start to review your Pinterest analytics overview. It will show you some important information about your pins and their performance. It's easy to view your top pins and boards, how many impressions that content is getting, engaging on your pins, and how many people are clicking on them and going to your product, blog, or lead generator. You can also filter your analytics to view by age, gender, content type, and more. You can use all this information to get an idea of how your content is performing and to make adjustments to be sure you're appealing to your target market. For example, compare your analytics against your titles and descriptions to get an idea of what keywords are performing well and adjust your promotions going forward accordingly. And further to that too, I would say that, for someone like, for Sophia to make the comment about most of her traffic, or I guess it was the second highest source of traffic, to know that that's happening, she's obviously also looking at her analytics, like Google Analytics, which is really important as well to be familiar with and see how that channel is performing. And it can also help you to drive some of that content and the keywords that you're using based on what is performing on that channel. So now you know why to use Pinterest, how to connect your online store, how to set up your business profile properly, how to use rich pins, how to format and organize your pins, how to create stunning visuals that will convert, and what content to share, and how to use your Pinterest analytics. Hopefully, we covered all of that in good detail so that you can go away and put together your shop or get it up to speed and start selling on Pinterest. Do we have any questions? Again, I'm not sure if Rochelle and I are fully equipped to deal with a lot of questions, but happy to take any that you have and get back to you in a follow-up, because I haven't seen any hit the comment section of the chat. But yeah, feel free to drop those in if you have any. And again, just want to mention that this has been brought to you by the Digital Main Street Program and your South Georgian Bay Digital Service Squad. Here's the link for booking a consult with us. Any business in the South Georgian Bay area can access our team for free consultation and support. Plus, I don't know if I mentioned, but the Digital Transformation Grant 3.0 is still available as of today, November 17th, 2021. It is expiring, or the deadline to apply is November 31st and 30th, 31st? 30th, November 30th, thank you. Or until grant funds run out. So we want to remind that that is an urgent situation. Get on that application as soon as you can if you're interested, or connect with us to learn more about it and if you would qualify. And enterprisecenter.ca/digital service squad, get in touch with us and we'll be happy to help. So I don't see any questions in the Q&A or the chat. So I think we will wrap it up and say thank you very much for joining us today. Hope you found this helpful, and we look forward to connecting on our virtual platforms.
Yay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks Rochelle, and thanks Amy for joining us. I hope you found that informative as well. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you in the next webinar, hopefully. Bye for now.